In this video, I'll teach the Breath of Rebirth. This is Baya Kumbhaka, the retention of the breath at the very bottom of the exhalation, holding on empty, without force, just letting go. I have found this pranayama to be the most powerful tool for a wide range of experiences, including the most intense psychedelic trips. It is associated with an aspect of rebirth. You could think about a rebirth of the body, a rebirth of the energy and breath, and a rebirth of the mind as the breath rushes back in following the long retention at the bottom. So before we launch into it, let's review the mechanics of breathing. Deep diaphragmatic breathing. The inhale swells the belly like a balloon. You can put your hands on the abdomen and inhale, feeling the belly swell like a balloon all the way to the top, and then the exhale is just spilling out, letting go. So with the inhale, there's all this energetic awareness. There's the awareness of the body in space. The belly swells like a balloon. The breath goes all the way to the top. There's this sense of energy and physical embodiment. And then with the exhale, it just spills out, letting go all the way to the bottom. Let's practice 3 deep breaths together in this way. So find a comfortable seat. You can also practice lying down. And wherever you are in your breathing, exhale fully. Really touch the bottom. And then inhale deeply from the belly. Exhale, just let it go. All the way out. Inhale deeply from the belly. Exhale, letting the breath go, let it go, let it go. One more, deep as you can from the belly. Long exhale, sigh it out, let the breath go. And in preparation for this pranayama, see if you can let a little more air go all the way out. So the way Baya Kumbhaka works in this adaptation for psychedelic work is we're going to take a series of 5 very deep belly breaths, just like that. So inhale from the belly, exhale, spilling out. And it's going to be fairly rapid. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. The oxygen rises in the blood. The energy builds. With each inhalation, there's a sense of presence, of energy of the body in space. And with each exhale, complete surrender. The body doesn't collapse. It maintains its structure, but the exhale completely lets go. The breath just goes all the way out. And 5 of those in rapid succession. So like this. Without the conducting hand. So we do 5 of those. And on the 5th and final exhalation, we drop the breath all the way to the bottom. And this is where the life's work begins. The final puffs of breath, the final traces of breath as you sail closer and closer and closer to the very bottom of the lungs, letting go, letting go, letting go. You are not pushing the air. There is no pushing with the stomach muscles, pushing the air out. It is a process of letting go. It goes on and on because you let go of the breath and there's a little more air still there. And it takes a moment or two. The lungs approach empty a little bit more. The breath falls a little bit more toward the bottom and then stops. And you wait and there's a little bit more air. And you continually let go of these little puffs, these little bursts of air getting shallower and shallower as you approach the very bottom with empty lungs. The lungs will never fully reach empty. There will always be some air left. That's okay. So what you are doing is you are seeking the bottom. And when you get very close to the bottom of the lungs, you rest there on empty. Without pushing, you can sort of hold the breath in place at the very bottom, completely surrendering, completely letting go for a long period of time until the inhalation rushes back in, almost like it's on its own. You just start breathing again because you've been retaining so long at the bottom. So let me demonstrate it once through. Again, 5 very deep diaphragmatic breaths. Inhale from the belly, exhale, letting go in rapid succession. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And on the 5th and final exhalation, I'm going to continue to seek the bottom just by letting go. A little more air, a little more, a little more. And then when I get very close to the bottom, I'm going to pause near empty, down there at the bottom, and just rest until the breath comes surging back in, which will be after a little while. There may be some discomfort on the way. There may be a desire to breathe. The mind might start distracting. It might come up with stuff to distract, to prevent you from passively holding the breath at the bottom. But you see, I'm gonna bypass that just with awareness. I'm gonna notice the urge to breathe. I'm gonna notice the body wanting to breathe, and I'm just gonna let it pass and let it pass and let it pass, and keep on letting go of a little more air, a little more, until the breath rushes back in. So 5 deep breaths. Hold the final exhalation at the bottom for as long as possible. So here goes, I'll demonstrate. So finding a comfortable seat, letting the breath exhale fully, and you see, I'm a little bit out of breath. And it feels amazing. It's both balancing and energizing. And in the context of a deep psychedelic experience, where the ordinary mind is receding and the ordinary dominance of language is receding, this rushing back in of the breath after this long retention feels, and I mean deeply, viscerally feels, like a new beginning, like a rejuvenating rebirth. So let's practice together, and then I'll give some instructions for what to do afterwards. So once again, 5 very robust inhalations from the belly, followed by just spilling out, letting go exhalations. And on the 5th and final exhalation, we sail all the way to the bottom, continually letting go of little puffs of air, always doing it by surrendering rather than pushing, until we reach the bottom or very close to it, and then linger there, resting, resting. The urge to breathe comes, the thoughts start to spin, distractions start to spin. The body really wants to breathe, and I bypass it for quite some time before I allow the breath to rush back in, and then I just breathe freely. So I'll talk us through this one. So find a comfortable seat, and let's do one deep breath just to prepare. So inhaling from the belly, and long exhale, allow the breath to sail all the way out. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Exhale fully. And here we go. Deep as you can from the belly. Let it go. 2, 3, 4, 5. And let it go, let it go, let it go all the way out. And when the breath rushes back in, allow it to be deep, and then just settle into your awareness. Now you are no longer controlling the breath. You are merely watching it. Very soft and gentle, maybe hovering near the bottom, almost empty, deeply relaxing. And I suggest staying here for a while when you practice. So you do this very robust pranayama, and then when the breath starts up again on its own, you control nothing, you manage no practice, you just sit in awareness. Feeling your body, feeling your breath, not controlling anything, just watching it unfold. And do that for a few minutes, and then practice again with the 5 deep breaths and the breath of rebirth that Baya Kumbhaka hold at the very bottom of the 5th and final exhalation. So where to draw on this powerful pranayama during psychedelic work? This breath practice, this breath of rebirth, will do wonders at any point during the experience. So you could practice it before the psychedelic journey, and it will bring balance and relaxation. You could practice it in the midst of the psychedelic experience. And if the psychedelic experience is very vivid and immersive and deep, then this rebirth pranayama will truly lead to, at least it will cultivate these mystical experiences that can arise. A very fundamental, different kind of understanding of what the consciousness is, what the being is, what you are, as opposed to a tangle of thoughts and feelings. And that becomes visible and clear and deeply known by the body after this pranayama. After this, you exert the control with the inhale. The inhale is controlling, is willpower, and you inhale to the top and you consolidate that energy and that awareness of your body in space. The exhale is just surrender. So it's this interplay between doing and not doing, between controlling and completely relinquishing control. And the final 5th exhalation, when it trails all the way out and you challenge yourself, because there's where you find your emotional body. There's where you find, I noted that the thoughts might rear up and distract, but the reason they do so, as you get toward that very soft, surrendered bottom of the breath, is because that's where all the emotions reside. Anything you're storing is there and may suddenly become very vivid and felt. And in the context of psychedelic healing work, the goal is very often to be able to feel and allow to move these energies that have been stuck, that have been locked down by ego mechanics, by trauma responses, very understandable, but baggage and pain that's being carried around that does no longer serve you. And this breath practice of rebirth, especially in the depths of the psychedelic experience, will teach you how to relate to this new body, this sense of new energy and breath, this sense of new mind that emerges from the bottom of the breath. So you spend a long time surrendering, letting go, surrendering, letting go, and then the breath surges back in. So it can also be practiced in the depths of the psychedelic experience. And Baya Kumbhaka will also be useful on the come down. When the ordinary mind is returning, the ego perhaps has returned, there's a sense of embodiment, but there's still a psychedelic trip lingering. And it's a wonderful opportunity to get to know these energies, the structure of your mind, the interplay between body, breath, and mind in that state. And there's no better way to do this than becoming very intimate with the bottom of your own exhalation. Finally, be gentle with this practice. Be gentle with this rebirth breath. Don't overdo it. I mentioned that you retain on empty for a long time before allowing the breath to rush back in, but don't make it extremely uncomfortable at first. Allow yourself a little bit of, I'm desiring to breathe, but I'm not. I'm bypassing it with awareness. Allow a little bit of that. Challenge yourself, but don't go too far. Then there's that rest period in between practice sessions where you're just softly remaining in awareness, letting the breath be, not controlling nothing. And then you may practice again. Each time you practice with the 5 robust belly breaths followed by the long final retention, you'll notice that you can retain for longer each time. But don't overdo it. I would recommend no more than 3 of those in series in conjunction with some psychedelic experience or practice session. So that is the breath of rebirth. I tell my students, both my yoga students and science students, that is the best thing I know. That is the most powerful and useful technique that I have accumulated in all these years. So it's a privilege to share it. May your practice go well. May your life go well. Thank you.